Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Gooner Gathering. This is an impromptu stream as a result of some breaking news that is going on. I am Gooner Lee Meads, fresh off my trip from the hospital yesterday, joined by Greg this time. Hello, Greg. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, Lee. Yourself?
Well, I've had an interesting 24 hours or so, my friend. As a shoot. This time yesterday, I was on my way back from our local medical facility here in Chelmsford, as I have 2 broken ribs. But that is not going to stop me. You know what? I will be totally transparent with all our Gooner Gathering audience right now. I'll tell you exactly what happened. On Thursday last week, I don't currently have a car to drive, and I finished my day shift, my normal job. I have to take 2 buses to get home, right? So I got into Chelmsford town. There was no buses coming my way at all. So I grabbed an e-scooter and had a little ride up. And unfortunately, I had a little bit of an accident. And after spinning on some wet leaves about a quarter of a mile away from my home, I sort of face planted. And as a result of that, I have 2 cracked ribs, a sprained ankle, and everything's all going rosy. So apart from that, everything's going really good. What sort of day have you had?
A lot better than that one, to be fair, mate. A lot better than that one, yeah. Yeah, no, usual day at work, and as you say, come home and put the old Sky Sports. As you say, the breaking news about Arteta getting done.
Absolutely right. So let's get into the reason why we're here, and Greg, we're very grateful to have you here on such short notice as well, mate. Because this only broke within the last sort of half hour or so. Let's put the thing up here, and if I can read it off the screen, I might even go full screen on my laptop so I can read it fine. So on the back of Newcastle versus Arsenal from a couple of weeks ago, Mikel Arteta has been charged with the breach of FA Rule E3.1 following comments that he'd made in media interviews after Arsenal's Premier League game against Newcastle United on Saturday, 4th of November. It's alleged that his comments constitute misconduct as they are insulting towards the match officials and or detrimental to the game and or bringing the game into disrepute. Arteta has until Tuesday, the 21st of November, to provide a response to this charge. So I would suggest to you, sir, that this news isn't maybe totally unexpected after the comments made, but it was made after a very controversial game at Newcastle. So what are your initial thoughts to what's come out tonight, mate?
Yeah, so I think I don't think anyone was surprised, to be fair, that he's been charged with it. I think the timing of it's quite strange, the way they wait to release the mic'd footage on Sky with Howard Webb, with Michael Owen there. But you know, if you take that game, it was just an horrendous game. As you know, Lee, I was there from the group we was at, and the referee lost control from within the first 5 or 6 minutes, mate. It was Dan Burn took Saka out 3 or 4 times in that first half. Should have got booked, never. Havertz, to be fair, I think should have walked. I thought it was quite a rash challenge.
Yeah.
And then you had the goal that, for me, never should have been. The ball, could you argue, was in or out? I honestly don't know, mate. I don't think we ever will do. Could do with the old Russian linesman, to be fair.
There it is.
I get so it looks out, doesn't it? But you don't know the shape of the ball, so you can understand that one.
Yeah.
The one you can't understand, mate, is the 2 hands on his back. It's just how they can say, on live footage or on the mic'd up version, 2 hands on his back, but it's not enough for a foul. And yet you see them given every single game that it's a foul. So you've got a manager who's lost the game that probably a 0-0 draw would have been a fair result. Neither team really deserve the win. And then you go and shove a camera in someone's hand in the face and ask for an honest response. So clearly they don't want an honest response, do they? They want a puppet, in my view. So, no, I fully back Arteta. Hopefully we appeal against it, but I think they'll appeal, but I think they'll still get a touchline ban, stadium ban. Yeah, I don't know. A heavy fine probably, won't he?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You said the timing is very interesting. It came right on the back of the program that went out on Sky yesterday. Obviously, we're in the middle of the international break right now, so I believe that the date that I said is next Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah, 21st.
So whatever the ramifications of this will be, whether it will be a fine, a stadium ban, a touchline ban, whatever it's going to be happening against Brentford when we return a week on Saturday. So, yeah, a lot to unpack on that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't think the referee, in my view, had any control on the specific game at all. You kind of brought that up with there's numerous incidents to talk about. You mentioned the Havertz challenge, obviously, which looked really bad on a slow motion. Let's go for that one first. Then I'll mention the obvious elbow. And I've got to remember who it is. I have not got anything queued up for me today, other than, but you've used on the Havertz,
or whatever his name, isn't it? Yeah.
Say again, sorry, mate.
Is it Gumares? I can't really pronounce his name.
That's
I think
right.
that was
Bruno Gumares. That's absolutely
with the forearm smash.
Absolutely. But before all that happened, Kai Havertz, possibly in trying to make a bit of an impact in the game, which my broadcast colleague Posh Bertie would have really appreciated, I'm sure. He's not the biggest fan, to be fair, but he kind of keeps that kind of low key. He doesn't, but so yeah, Havertz launched two-footed more or less, and somewhat. I mean, I would call it. I called it an orange card, one that probably merited more than a yellow, but I didn't think quite merited a red. What were your thoughts?
Well, when you're watching it live, it looked horrendous, to be fair. Obviously, St. James is part of there. You're up in the gods anyway, so you're miles away from it to start with. But I think it was one of them where if it were given red, you wouldn't have complained. If it was given a yellow, you'd probably go, well, do you know what? I think if he hadn't moved his leg, he'd have probably snapped it, to be fair. He did go in quite hard. But, it's one of them where it's either, whatever decision the ref was going to give, it wasn't going to be overturned by VAR, was it, that one?
No, not at all. In fairness, I thought the yellow was probably just about right. Just about. It was bordering. I get the criticism and everything like that. I've got to try and remember the order of everything that happened. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the goal was rather late on. So I think the next incident let's talk about Gumares and his absolute forearm smash that never even got looked at, as far as I can see. I don't. If that went through VAR, I'm very, very confused in how an incident like that could be allowed to, the player could have been allowed to stay on the field.
It's just inconsistency, isn't it? It's VAR, as we all know, is brought in to make them wrong decisions right. And if you're not even going to review that forearm smash with a VAR to see if it was intent, you know, he got tackled, he got up, you could see the intent in his face and his eyes, and then just went straight at him. And as you say, you know, just smacked Jorginho in the head. No intentions of the ball had long gone, and nothing, just play on. It's just, you can see that's what gets the managers absolutely riled, because they're just, what are the rules these days? No one seems to know, do they?
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I think it spoils the enjoyment of the match for the fan in the stands and the fan who is watching on the television screens and all around the world. And then we obviously will talk about. So I know we're going over a little bit of old ground here, but let's talk about there's about 4 incidents after, you know, regarding the Gordon goal. One of which you saw on the picture a moment ago, whether the ball was in play, out of play, inconclusive. So I suppose the sort of the level-headed person in me would think, well, if VAR wasn't in play, we are looking for a clear and obvious kind of error. And I don't think there was a clear and obvious error in terms of the ball going out of play. Do you agree with me or not?
100%, mate. You can't tell, can you? You can't overturn it either way, can you?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And then, of course, they were checking for an offside. I don't think there was an offside in there. No. But like you mentioned, the two-handed push on Gabriel was as obvious to me as anyone else watching it. Even the likes of Richard Keys, who couldn't say a good word about Arsenal Football Club last season at all, has come out and said, well, this is ridiculous. There is an alumni of high-profile pundits, Andy Gray, Martin Keown. There were plenty of other people who come out and said it shouldn't have been a goal. Yet there was a small handful of people in the disciplinary panel who feel that the referee was justified in giving the goal. But here's the thing. And we sort of covered this on the channel a little bit already. We're not gonna use a refereeing decision or whatever, a VAR decision to cover up the fact that day at St James's Park, we didn't play very well. Let's be absolutely honest. We were not at our flowing best.
No, we were awful, I thought, to be fair.
I would have thought a draw actually would have been an absolutely fair result, in all honesty. But I think all the fans throughout the world, throughout the league, throughout the whole people, anyone who watches football will want some consistency and a bit of transparency. And even after mic'd up yesterday, I don't think everything was completely covered as it probably should be.
No, definitely not. I think he just makes a mockery. Even when they come out, they're still defending that it wasn't a foul. And you think, how can that not be a foul? A week ago when we played Seville, we got done for exactly the same incident. I think it was Saka on one of the defenders. He got done for exactly the same thing. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's one of them that I think as an Arsenal fan, and probably 60% of the country would honestly say that wasn't a foul. Yeah. And yet, whether it's because they want to try and protect the referees because of how poor they've been this season, I honestly don't know. But you can understand why Arteta had the rant that he did. And, I don't think he was on his own. In fact, when we was driving home, we was listening to Mark Goldbridge on Talk Sport, who I don't particularly like with being a Man U fan, but we was listening to him, and he was proper going off on one that, Arsenal fans have been done. He don't like Arsenal fans. But when you got someone like that who's openly coming out saying you've absolutely been robbed, who knows where them 2 points or that point might cost us? You never know, do you? But hopefully it brings us tight together, and we go again.
Yeah, that's absolutely the thing, and in all fairness, that's exactly what Arsenal have done over the games following the Newcastle defeat. We responded very well against Sevilla, and then of course we had the league game against Burnley on Saturday. And in fairness, in both games, I thought Arsenal did play, pretty well. I think the word I want to say is professional.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
particularly against Burnley on Saturday, which had quite an opportunity, I felt, for being a bit of a banana skin, and the ramifications of potentially slipping up on points after what happened to Tottenham earlier on in the day would have been huge, I felt.
Yeah, no, definitely. Again, I was there for that one on Saturday as well, from Preston to a fair old trek down. But yeah, as you said, that was a potential banana skin. I was worried up top, if I'm being honest. I didn't think we had... yes, we got the front three of Martinelli, Trossard and Saka, but they didn't look a lot of strength on the bench either, which was a bit worried with. But that goal in the first half was absolutely crucial, to be fair. And then
was right on half time as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And then a very quick to get back in front again. Another dubious push on Tomiyasu, but to go 1-1 and then go straight back 2-1, it was that was really key. But yeah, as you say, we needed that win, especially after the scum dropping 3 points in beautiful fashion. And then obviously the
very Spursy-like, wasn't it?
Very Spursy. They've had the 10 games this season. They've had a bit of fun at the top. They got a nosebleed, and now they're starting to go back where they belong.
Yeah. And in fairness to some of the Spurs fans that I talked to, obviously doing the platform that we do and everything, there's a few of sort of looking at how they've started and thinking, okay, fair enough, we've started at a decent level. But it's really funny how things can change so quickly in the Premier League. When you have a game, and it was an extraordinary game, to be fair, last Monday, Spurs against Chelsea. It's a sort of game I think will be remembered in infamy for quite a while, through rash tackles, injuries, and how high Spurs were playing their defensive line. Fair play to them, because they gave it a decent go. Yet that's not going to be very popular in an Arsenal community, but they gave it a shout, and they did come short that day. And as a result of what happened there, and the ramifications of what happened, the Romano sending off, for example, is huge. The other centre half, who's the new centre half, the Dutch fellow who I struggle to remember the name of, but you know who I'm talking about, the one who does hamstring.
He's hamstring,
yeah. And crucially, and a big fan of Posh Bertie is James Maddison, whose work creating goals and his general play has very much been applauded. It's funny. Hello, Niall Kane and Mile High Hotspur, who've just joined us just recently. Welcome in. It's funny you should join us, Mile High Hotspur. We're just talking about your glorious club. Oh, hello. My brother's in the chat as well. Let me just put Nick in here. Let me just say, you should hear what they're saying about Ange and Spurs here in Australia. My brother is not very far away from Melbourne. It's like they're the greatest team on earth. Well, Nick, we know better than that, don't we, mate? And they're just starting to get found out. Yeah, I think that's probably about fair, mate. What will be interesting in terms of Spurs, obviously they have this international break to stew about what's happened to them over the last 2 games or so. Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries, that's fine. Obviously, with the wheels coming off a couple of times, obviously after the international break, they've got a lot to think about, and they've got a lot, see how they respond in their next league game. I need, because this is a bit impromptu. I didn't plan to come on tonight, so we'll see what happens from there.
Couple of big injuries, though, aren't they? That if you think of what the press is saying, Maddison's out till the new year potentially. As you say, that Dutch centre half's out, and he does look a tiny player. To be fair, he's
good,
out. Couldn't happen to a nicer club, could it?
Exactly, and just to talk directly to my broadcast colleague who may or may not see this live, but you'll probably watch it later on. That's the only question mark I have with James Maddison is the fact that he did pick up injuries last season, and when he picks them up, they're big ones. I hope for his point of view that I hope for Maddison's point of view, it doesn't stop his career, because I really highly rate the guy.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Let me just throw the comment from Mile High Hotspur up, because we are a fair. What I want to say here, how have we been found out? That they say we've had injuries and suspensions, and yes, you have, absolutely. And honestly, to see what happened against Chelsea for you guys, when I think it's right to say that you ended that game against Chelsea with only 4 of the 11 that started. It was really unfortunate, and I'm not even taking the mickey. I genuinely am not. When you had the injury situation, obviously the double red card situation didn't help your cause at all. And unfortunately, when you go to a very difficult game like Wolverhampton, where it's pardon the pardon and the cliche, if you want, that it's always going to be a very tough thing. My brother says, unfortunate, it was hilarious. Nick, I'm trying to be a broadcast journalist. No one's beat our first team yet, says Mile High Hotspur. And yeah, I get that point of view, but
it's a squad game, though, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, where injuries, suspensions happen, and I just had a feeling that Wolverhampton away was going to be a very, very difficult game. And that's how tough the Premier League game is. To be fair, you could go to, especially away games like the likes of Wolves and that sort of game. You can never take anybody lightly. Doesn't matter where you are on the table. Everyone is always capable of taking points off each other. They respond here, Mile High. Big shout out to Mile High Hotspur, by the way. Keep on putting out fantastic content, despite them being Tottenham fans. So I will give them, and all Pro 4 rivalry aside, give them some support, and give them a subscribe on their channel. They're doing some great work over there. So be nice, everybody. That's all our YouTubers will ask from anybody. Taking nothing away from Chelsea or Wolves, who beat us. Yeah, absolutely fair play.
Yeah. It was a bit embarrassing, the hat-tricks celebration, though, from Jackson, weren't it? He played against Nightmare, and he celebrated like he's got the hat-trick of the season. It was just like, Jesus, pal, come on.
Yeah, and cheers for that, My High Hotspur. It's all love. Listen, we're all in the YouTube game just for 2 things: to entertain people and to have a bit of a laugh. And this is why we do it. So I think that's fair. So basically, on the So we've come on here on Gooner Gathering tonight on the back of the Arteta charge. It will be interesting to see how Arsenal will respond to that. They have until Tuesday night to do that. I would imagine that we will all reconvene on Gooner Gathering on that night when talking about whatever is going to go on. The next time that we intend to be on air is going to be the ladies' game. It's Brighton and Hove Albion against the Arsenal. It's in the WSL on Sunday. Myself and Posh Bertie are going to do a live watch along, which will be a lot of fun for all of us as we have no Premier League Premier League games going on. Just to talk to my brother. Let me just put the comment up. Let me just see what he says. I've never known a player to play so badly yet still walk away with all 3 goals. Referring to Jackson, of course, in the Chelsea game. Yeah. What can you say? In Jackson's defence, before we go, look, the guy kept on trying, and all he could have done was try and put the ball in against what was in front of him. And it's a fair point. He has had a bit of a struggle. It's always a struggle to get into a Premier League side because it's very difficult. It's the hardest thing in football, Nick, as you know, mate. It's putting the ball in the net is never an easy thing. Look, I always found it very difficult. But then again, my position was left back in the dressing room. But but bad jokes aside and everything, we are going to get out of here because I understand that Greg's battery is running low. So what we'll do, Greg, you give yourself a bit of a shout out, and anything else you want to shout out before we go, mate?
No, first time, pal, and thanks for having me on. And I'll probably keep in touch, and I'll get back on again throughout the season.
Absolutely. Jackson's collecting yellow cards like Pokemon. That's brilliant, Nick. I didn't expect a Pokemon reference from you, my boy. Nick, I want to say big up to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us all the way from Australia. Thank you, Mile High Hotspur, for being here. Anyone else who sees us on demand, thank you so much. Before you leave us tonight, guys, could you all please give us a like? I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, are already subscribed. Anyone new in, please make sure you hit that button. As Gooner Gathering is racing towards 250 subscribers. You can find me at Gooner Gathering on X. You can also find me at Goonerly Meads. Like I said, keep an eye on our Twitter page, our X page. Anything that happens, any breaking news, any streams that are going to happen will be probably posted on there first. Until then, big thanks to Greg for joining us on the stream tonight. And until we see you next time, boys and girls, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.